franchise can go to, and I trust Ben Cherington to make the right decision. So far this season, Sam Howard has been a pleasant surprise out of the bullpen for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Let's examine what has driven that success. Through the first 18 games of the 2020 season, the bullpen has been an inconsistent roller coaster ride for the Pittsburgh Pirates. As you would expect, the performance of the bullpen has featured pitchers that have unexpectedly struggled, as well as those who have been pleasant surprises. One of the pitchers whose performance has been a pleasant surprise for the Pittsburgh Pirates is lefty Sam Howard. While Howard was not part of the opening day bullpen, injuries created an opportunity for Howard, and he has taken this opportunity and run with it. Howard was a bit of an afterthought in both spring training and summer camp. Prior to 2020, Howard owned a 5.87 ERA, 6.16 FIP, 11.7% walk rate, 21.6% strikeout rate, and he allowed 5 home runs in 23 innings pitched. These 23 innings of work came with the Colorado Rockies in 2018 and 2019. Thus far in 2020, Howard's results have done a complete 180. In 6 1/3 innings of work, Howard has walked just 2 batters and struck out 10. He's allowed 1 home run and owns a 2.84 ERA and 2.92 FIP. Even though it's just 6 1/3 innings of work, he also appears to be a pitcher that is earning Derek Shelton's trust in high leverage situations. It must be stressed that 6 1/3 innings of work is a small sample size, but there is evidence that points toward the early season success of Howard being sustainable. Opposing batters are hitting the ball with an average exit velocity of just 86.9 miles per hour off Howard. MLB average exit velocity is 88.1 miles per hour, putting his 86.9 mile per hour exit velocity in the 86th percentile of MLB. So he is doing a good job of limiting quality contact. The best sign of all, though, is what he has been able to do with his slider. He has thrown his slider 65.7% of the time, and opposing batters are hitting .083 with a 79 mile per hour exit velocity off of his slider. His slider has a spin rate of 2,436 this season and has generated a 48.6% whiff rate. Another thing Howard has done well this season is get ahead in the count. He has thrown a first pitch strike 60% of the time this season. This is a big reason why his walk rate has improved to 8% after being 11.7% in his first 2 MLB seasons. Getting ahead in the count also gives Howard more room to look to get chases on his slider, which has contributed to his 34.9% chase rate this season, which is also a career best. Howard also appears to be a pitcher that is pitching with a lot of confidence. He has been attacking batters, as evident by his first pitch strike rate, and has not been afraid to go to his slider when he needs a strikeout. This has included throwing it out of the strike zone to get chases in 3-ball counts, as well as putting it in the dirt even with runners on base. For that, credit also needs to be given to Jacob Stallings for the confidence his pitchers have in his ability to keep the ball in front of him. While it is a small sample size of 6 1/3 innings, Howard has been a pleasant surprise out of the Pirate bullpen in 2020. With his ability to limit quality contact and a plus slider, the early season success of Howard is success that appears to be sustainable. And when we're talking about sustainable success for Sam Howard, what that leads credence to is him being a part of the bullpen of the future of the bullpen moving forward. And when you look at that bullpen moving forward, and you start to take a look and get an idea of what that looks like, you talk about, let's say, an 8-man bullpen in 2021. We're going to do a little exercise here of if Sam Howard is in that picture. So right now, let's just say Sam Howard gets spot number 1, just for this exercise. Okay. We'll say spot number 2 goes to Chris Stratton out of the bullpen. So we have those 2 spots. We have Sam Howard, we have Chris Stratton, and we'll assume Richard Rodriguez also makes the move into the 2021 Pirates bullpen. And so we've got three guys that you know that are going to be in there. You got Sam Howard, you got Chris Stratton, you got Richard Rodriguez, and we'll throw Nick Birdie in there too. Hopefully he is ready to roll in 2021. So that's 4 spots. Then we'll throw Kyle Crick in there. He'll be our 5th guy. And then as we continue to go over this, so we'll throw Jeff Hartlieb in as number 6. And for the sake of this exercise, let's just throw Nick Mears and Blake Cederlind into the equation here. Obviously, again, this is not an exact science, but in this bullpen we have Sam Howard, Chris Stratton, Richard Rodriguez, Nick Birdie, Kyle Crick, Jeff Hartlieb, Nick Mears, and Blake Cederlind. Could that be a bullpen that the Pirates go to in 2021? And, I think that would prove to be a good bullpen. Obviously, there are other options there. I threw Mears and Cederlind just because I think they're both important parts of the future of the Pirates bullpen. But some other options that the Pirates could obviously go to, Clay Holmes, Stephen Brault probably in the rotation. If you're looking at the 2021 rotation, which is another interesting thing to go over, you would have to figure Jameson Taillon makes that rotation as well. Let's just throw Chad Cole up top there. That's 2 guys. Then we'll throw Trevor Williams, Mitch Keller, and Joe Musgrove, and that fills out the 2021 rotation. And you talk about the other guys that are going to be sort of left out of the equation fighting for spots. You got JT Brubaker, you got Cody Ponce, you got Brandon Waddell. Who else we got in there? Donis Neverauskas, obviously, then Stephen Brault. But the Pirates do have a bevy of pitching, but we sort of start to need to see guys step up. And that's what we've seen with Sam Howard. That's what we've seen with Chris Stratton. Those 2 guys have really been the dependable guys out of the bullpen. Richard Rodriguez has been okay. Nick Birdie just keeps getting hurt. Kyle Crick, who knows? Jeff Hartlieb still has potential. Mears and Cederlind are the guys that I want to point to. But if you're looking at sort of the 4 guys, you got Howard, you got Stratton, you got Mears, and you got Cederlind. And where do the other 4 come from? That's what the big question is going to be. And the rotation is going to be good. When you're talking about Taillon, Cole, Williams, Keller, and Musgrove, that rotation is going to be solid in 2021. And again, I still do think this team is going to struggle in 21. I'm not trying to purport or give you unrealistic expectations. I see myself as a complete and total Pirate fan and a complete and total optimist too. I really do. But when you're looking at realistically and trying to see, okay, where do the Pirates fit into the equation with the rest of the league? They have some talent, but that talent has to come together. It has to step up. It really does. And I believe that the talent that they have, the guys that they have in place, it's all there for them to step up. It's all there for them to step up this season. But what really has been the problem in 2020 has been the offense more so than the pitching. And the pitching, as of late, has struggled a little bit. We're now pitching staff ERA of 5.77. So, it's unrealistic to expect the offense to go out there and have just outstanding, score 6 runs a game. The Pirates offense, and no offense is equipped to do that. But when you look at what the FIP is, the FIP is another important stat. The team expected ERA right now is at 4.92, and that's a little bit more reasonable. The guys that have really struggled, and you can sort of take it as you will, Michael Feliz is injured. He could be getting Tommy John surgery. He has a 13.78 FIP. Keller just came back, 13.73. Cody Ponce, 9.81 FIP. Del Pozo, just garbage, 8.74. Mears, an 8.24. Keller, surprisingly, in his work, a 7.27 FIP. That does surprise me. Holland, 7.11. Musgrove, 6.74. When you talk about the guys that have done well, Brandon Waddell is the lowest FIP. Clay Holmes and so the guys with the lowest FIP, let's just go over this, that are gone now. Clay Holmes had a 1.64. Crick, 2.12. Birdie, 2.27. Robbie Erlin, 2.55. He's now on the Braves. And, we'll see. But, again, some guys are really going to need to have to step up if the Pirates are going to have the pitching staff that's necessary to be a solid baseball team. The Pittsburgh Pirates have an extremely deep farm system, but a handful of prospects get overshadowed. These two pitching prospects have some real potential that gets overlooked. The Pittsburgh Pirates have a really deep farm system. After all, it's arguably a top 5 farm system in baseball. Currently, Fangraphs places it at 6, but they enter the year at 5. Pitchers such as Cody Bolton, Quinn Priester, Tanaj Thomas, and Brennan Malone get most of the attention in the system as the organization's best pitching prospects, with many other names that probably come to mind. But with so many noteworthy prospects, it's easy to forget some guys that don't really stand out. These two might not be future aces or anything, but they are very intriguing prospects for the Pittsburgh Pirates based on the stuff they can do with the ball on the mound. The first is right-hander Steven Jennings. We've previously discussed Jennings, but I wanted to go in depth about one thing that makes him really stand out: his spin rate. The right-hander is ranked as the team's 26th best prospect according to Fangraphs. The 21-year-old hasn't really done anything super impressive yet. Through 221 and 2/3 innings, Jennings has a 4.67 ERA, a 3.94 FIP, and 1.39 WHIP. Jennings only has a 18.8% strikeout rate, but a solid 7.9% walk rate. After all, he is known for being a control specialist. Fangraphs gives his command a future of 60. He also has a solid 0.9 home runs per 9 rate. 2019 was the best professional season yet for Jennings. In 130 innings of work at Low A Greenboro, Jennings had a 4.71 ERA, 4.23 FIP, and 1.33 WHIP to go with a 7.1% walk rate, 1 home run per 9, and a career-high 20.3% strikeout rate. However, he did register a 3.99 xFIP. So far, he's only looked like a durable control pitcher, but he's got some really interesting potential. Jennings' fastball only sits in the high 80s and low 90s. According to Fangraphs, it tops out at just 93 miles per hour. In comparison, the MLB average was 93.6 miles per hour, so Jennings at his fastest is close to the MLB average. But what makes this pitch a really interesting pitch is the amount of spin he can put on it. Jennings has a 2,500 RPM spin rate on his fastball. The MLB average spin rate on a fastball in 2019 was in the low 2000s. That spin rate is comparable to some really good names like Garrett Cole, Yu Darvish, and Will Harris. All three sit in the 95th percentile fastball spin rate in 2019. Obviously, Cole and Darvish throw a lot harder, but spin rate is really important when evaluating a pitcher. And Jennings' fastball is elite in terms of that. A soft-tossing pitcher to compare to him on the Pittsburgh Pirates is Trevor Williams, whose fastball also sits in the low 90s, but only has 2,200 to 2,250 RPM. But Jennings' slider has even more spin. It clocks in with 3,000 RPM, which ties him for the 4th most spin on a breaking pitch among any prospects. Very few pitchers can put 3,000 or more spin on their breaking pitches. This would have placed him in the top 97th percentile of pitchers in baseball and possibly even higher. The other prospect that has some real spin on their pitches is Santiago Flores. While Jennings is generally considered the Pirates' best control pitching prospect, Flores has really struggled limiting free passes. Flores' lowest walk percentage in a single season so far has been last year when he had a 11.6% rate. In his career, he has a 13.3% walk rate and 5.3 per 9 ratio. He hasn't struck out many batters either, with a career 16.4% strikeout rate and 6.6 per 9 ratio. Flores does limit home runs, as 4 of the 6 home runs He has surrendered through 138 career innings